Welcome to kiwiradio.nz, your weekly show for New Zealand music. We've got two guests this week. Very excited to have Bad for Education as well as Nigel Parry on this week's episode. But first off, to kickstart the podcast, I want to do a bit of a nod from last week's guest, Arrays. Thank you so much to JP Carroll for being on the show last week, and he's got some rockin' and Kiwi tunes, including this one called Obsidian Oceans. I'll open the show with that and then get straight into our guests.
In search of a remedy, mind's clear and your arms are open, but you can't hold anything more than the weight of the world when your hands are broken. We both know something's not right when we hold our hands up to the light. Blood runs between our fingers, and this ship must bend before it breaks. I think we're better off this way, even if it means that I'll be standing for myself. I think we're better off this way. Two ships in Obsidian Ocean, trying to find our way through oblivion, in search of a melody. Can't sing when the ship is sinking. We know fear is the enemy. Forget the life of raps, keep on drinking. We both know something's not right when we hold our hands up to the light. Blood dries beneath our fingernails. This wrist must bend before it breaks. I think we're better off this way, even if it means that I'll be standing for myself. I think we're better off this way. Two ships in Obsidian Ocean, trying to find our way through oblivion, in search of a melody. Can't sing when the ship is sinking, in search of a remedy. Get the life around, keep on taking. I think we're better off this way, yeah. Even if it means that I'll be fending for myself. I think we're better off this way, yeah. Two ships in Obsidian Ocean, trying to find our way through oblivion.
This is Up FM.
Oh, not a bad song to kickstart the energy off for today's podcast. That was Arrays. And we've got more rock music today as well, because we also have Bad for Education, an independent rock outfit from Auckland, New Zealand, created by William Walker, who has shared concert lineups with various New Zealand heroes such as Sir David Dobbin, The Exponents, and Hello Sailor. What a lineup. Hello, William. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, Austin?
Excellent. It's great to have you. Tell us a little bit about your journey so far as a musician, man.
I started when my dad was a musician, so he managed the Java Jive and the Glue Pot, I think in the 90s, and then the Power Station in the early 2000s. And so he really wanted me to do music, and I kind of didn't want to do music at all until I went to Dilworth School, and just had this love for guitar, and just knew I wanted to play guitar and on stage and write songs and things, you know.
Awesome. What was your first introduction in terms of guitar as an instrument? Was it like an acoustic number, or was it straight to electric guitar?
Oh, it was classical guitar. I think
Classical
it was
guitar.
Twinkle
Wow, that's
Twinkle
cool.
Little Star.
Oh, was it? Awesome. So you had to play everything too, right? It was both the bass, the melody, and real.
Oh,
Real.
yeah.
Does Twinkle
And I
Twinkle
do that
Little Star even
today.
have a bass line? I don't think so. What am I talking about? Shows how much I know about nursery rhymes. I should know more about nursery rhymes. I've got a 1-year-old, so. But yeah, no, that's cool.
Oh,
Classical guitar, man. Do you know any Spanish guitar too?
Spanish guitar. I can do the intro to Nothing Else Matters by Metallica,
Nice.
which is
That is cool. Hey, look, it's all about doing a showcase for today. So first song we got lined up from you is Again and Again. You want to tell us a little bit about the song? What's it about?
yeah, sure. So I was living in Wairua in 2020, and obviously we were locked down, and everything just felt like a Groundhog Day, I guess. And I had this routine. I was going to the supermarket. I was reaching out to people and things like that, and not getting replies, I guess, which is the whole I throw the ball in the court, and I'm coming up short, and things like that. So yeah, it was just trying to get out of the routine, I guess. That was what the song was trying to achieve.
Let's play it. Also, we want to say hello to upfm.co.nz, simulcasting today's stream, as well as kiwiradio.nz. Welcome to the weekly show for Kiwi music.
I'm sitting around again and again. I can't seem to get it out of my head. I'll take my dog for a walk, throw the ball in your court. Still I'm coming up short. If I can't get out of this room, then my heart is beating you. Oh, but you beat it till it's black and blue. And the cycle starts again and again and again and again. No, I can't seem to get you out of my head. I'm overpaid, I'm underworked and overlooked. Take my dog for a walk, throw the ball in your court. And now I'm feeling the stress, and the cycle starts again. If I can't get out of this room now, I'm gonna be there soon. Oh, and I can do it. Oh, the cycle starts again and again and again and again. No, I can't seem to get you out of my head. I'm at the door, back from the store, and the ball's still in your court. Yeah, I miss it all, 'cause how I feel now, I'm 24. Very boring and everybody. Stay in touch and keep good buddies. Again and again and again and again. Oh, no, no, yeah. Oh, yeah. Again and again and again and again, yeah. I'm gonna take these words from my brain and throw it across this page. I'm gonna take my brain away from here.
Bad for Education, playing on kiwiradio.nz. I'm going to quietly pretend that the start of that song wasn't pitched up by a few notches by accident, but you didn't hear it. You didn't hear it. So that's why that wasn't a creative decision by William. That was just me with fat fingers on the pitch slider. But anyways, we got it going. Also, we also have going today a secondary guest, which I'll intro now. It's Nigel Parry. He is a singer and songwriter from New Zealand, very award-winning, playing on radio and major folk festivals. He's had a unique journey from ancient to modern and heartbreaking to humorous. Sounds like a bit of a story, actually. He's released a new studio album called Tales of Common Folk, Salt and Sweet Kisses, and we're very delighted to be showcasing some of that music today. Nigel, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you, and hello, everybody.
Very good. Sometimes I feel like a little short breath doing those little intros there, but we managed to get that going.
Yeah, there was a lot of words you got out there. I'm impressed.
I do. So tell us about yourself as a country rock star by the sounds of it. How long have you been doing this for, man?
Off and on for a long time. I used to be in bands in the UK, including one called Black Velvet, when I lived over there. Back in New Zealand, and I was way too busy with life for a few years, and then got back into music, and gradually dragged further and further down that tunnel. And so I've been writing songs since probably I could walk. I've been singing since probably I could talk, which is great because I used to annoy my sisters in the car when we were on journeys on holiday. But the folk music side of things really kicked off when I got pulled along to a historical event years and years ago in the UK, which mainly involved a bunch of friends sitting around campfires drinking copious quantities of beer when all the spectators had gone home. That kind of stuck in terms of a really cool thing to do, and the music just took off from there in terms of sometimes it just makes the hairs stick up on the back of your neck when you hear some beautiful harmonies or something like that.
Sounds excellent. And I'm glad you come from a very beloved country such as the UK. I spent a good 2 years there. Which part of the UK were you doing your music thing?
Well, when I was doing most of the music over there, I lived in the Midlands, right in the middle of England, near Warwick, Stratford-on-Avon, basically. So did quite a bit of touring around that area with the duo. But I'm actually half Welsh. Land of my father's is North Wales. That's my excitable half when I watch rugby.
The excitable half when you watch rugby. Yeah, it depends who's winning, right? I guess.
Not really, no.
Do you change passports too, depending on who's winning that night?
No, I don't. I'm definitely an All Blacks fan now, even when Wales are playing the ABs, but Wales come a really close second. Funnily enough, the only team that I really aren't so keen on winning, if I'm perfectly honest, is Australia, because they just so smug when they do that you don't want them to.
Yeah, exactly. You got to give the Australians something sometimes, you know.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty good at it, to be fair.
Yeah. We gave them everything else that Kiwiana ever built. The Pavlova, the sandals, all sorts.
Crowded house.
I'll be surprised if they didn't buy out kiwiradio.nz in a couple of years' time and just, I don't know, claim it as their own. I don't know. I'm talking smack. But anyway, speaking of smack, your first track today is called The Day the Bank Closed Its Doors. Do you think the banks will be doing that soon with interest rates on the rise, or when did you write this?
It's happened for years anyway, and it's one of these weird things. It's a song that was written about a specific little town in rural New Zealand, but everywhere I go and play it, and not just in this country, it seems to pretty much resonate everywhere. Everybody knows a town or even part of a city where the local bank and various other things and schools have just kind of closed down. And so it's kind of a symbol of you know, the sucking back of what was once helping places be vibrant and prosperous, and just disappearing instead of supporting places. This particular town, as many in New Zealand, Bank of New Zealand went around basically claiming territory everywhere by putting up these really grand buildings in pretty much every town around the country with pillars and, you know, lovely etched glass and grand halls inside with the all the mouldings and all that stuff. And most of these places are just not banks anymore. They closed down years ago and they became, I don't know, antique shops or just ruins, or swanky houses if they were in the right town or whatever. But there's lots of other things on the rural high streets that have gone. In fact, this particular town, there isn't a single shop on the high street that's still a shop. Everything is closed down.
Wow. And that's just in the last 2 years, or?
Oh, no, that's a few years. It's been going on. Actually, it's been going on for years. That particular building, quite a number of them, closed down, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago or something like that. In fact, what I normally do is play a game with audiences where I play this at folk festivals and just folk clubs or around anywhere, really, is just ask, can you guess what town this song is about? And people shout out or come up to me afterwards. And literally the guesses are all around the country, from the West Coast to Northland to the Wairarapa to Taranaki, even places which are fairly close to the actual town. All over, in fact, all over the world, there are people who guess it's somewhere in Ireland, somewhere in England, somewhere in the Netherlands. I think my favourite guess so far is a place called Dawson City in the Yukon in Canada. Well, it's not that place, but it's fantastic that somebody should guess that, because they're having the same problems and the same rural decline over there that we're having in little New Zealand.
Yeah, it does sound like it seems like the Commonwealth countries are kind of cookie cutters of each other at the moment with the economy specifically. You know, like you say, all these big banks claiming all the little guys. So yeah, it's interesting times as well. So. All right, well, let's play it. The Day the Bank Closed Its Doors, Nigel Parry on kiwiradio.nz. I do love a bit of folk music as well, so I'm very excited to have such an eclectic mix today. And then we'll have Nigel Parry back very soon, and William as well.
It stood in the center of town, drawing folks in as they walked up and down. A castle to commerce, center of trade, with the natural high windows all edged nice and neat, stone pillars and carvings commanding the high street, a cathedral where now there are none come to pray. Since the day the bank closed its doors for the last time, the day the bank closed its doors, the day the bank closed its doors for the last time, the day the bank closed its doors. This town was once a thriving old place, the center for folk who lived miles around, but the highway drove by and took trade away. Well, there's still plenty of sheep to shave, but the stores are all closed now thanks to Pack and Save. And the old hotel sign starts to peel and fade. Since the day the bank closed its doors for the last time, the day the bank closed its doors, the day the bank closed its doors for the last time, the day the bank closed its doors. Station was a place for folk coming and going. Now windowless trains rumble by without slowing. Past the old village school, now childless and still. This town his heart and soul. The day all those doors close, though the name lingers on. So many have gone. It's just letters on a plate by the speed limit sign. A word on the map by a big yellow line. Our struggles on, but the world hurries by. Since the day the bank closed its doors for the last time. The day the bank closed its doors. The day the bank closed its doors for the last time. The day the bank closed its doors. Since the day the bank closed its doors for the last time. The day the bank closed its doors. The day the bank closed its doors for the last time. The day the bank closed its doors.
We tuned into kiwiradio.nz. That was Nigel Parry. The day the bank closed its doors. We're going to spin back to our first guest for today. William, welcome back to the show. Bad for Education. It's a pretty cool band name. How did you come up with it?
Thank you. I was watching Akira, which I think was the first Japanese computer animated film, and it was the colors were very striking, and just everything about that world was so interesting. It was just it's really about what happens to a human if they obtain the powers of a god. And it essentially says that the human that attains those powers will essentially just consume everything around him. Yeah, which, I don't know, it inspired me. And
well, that's actually pretty deep. I was thinking, wow, okay.
yes, and that's the name of the main character's motorcycle gang. It's an interesting movie. I'd highly recommend it.
I might have to check that out. Cool. Walk in the Park's your next song. What's it about?
Yeah, so Walk in the Park is my attempt at writing a ballad. It's got some synths in it, and the main riff was taken from a Fall Out Boy song. I can't recall what it was, but
do you think we might get a couple of Fall Out Boy copyright strikes then, or what did you do? Did you change it enough to?
Yeah, I think it's original. You know,
okay.
It's
it was just inspired by. Okay, got it.
Yes, it's transformative.
Yeah, well, all music's like that, really, right? There's only 12 notes, so okay.
That's right. Yeah, that's correct.
Well, let's listen to it now.
Or whatever knows.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for being on the show. This is Bad for Education, Walk in the Park.
It's just a walk in the park, babe. Tell me all about it. Everything can be discarded, 'cause it's here from the start. And shots in the dark, babe. Gonna get it right by reaching up to pieces to hold on in the ride. Maybe when we started, I was broken hearted and just couldn't get it right. And since we've been departed, now I'm getting started. Oh, I gotta get it right. I'll be thinking of you out here, I know, and into the future, right here in the now. Oh, but thinking of it's breaking my heart. Now I gotta get right back to the start. were thinking of it's breaking apart. Now I gotta push right back to the start.
I love it when musicians insert found sound towards the end, like, you know, that rain and stuff. It just gets me going. Where did you record the rain? Very important question.
I believe that was a sample from Looperman, if I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Wrong.
No worries. I could picture you in the storm or something, being very dedicated to your art, you know.
Yeah.
Wasn't that? Okay, great. Straight
that was,
from the...
That was Dalian that put me onto that one.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, great music today. Very eclectic stuff today. Lovely stuff. Unfortunately, this next track is going to be your last showcase for today, William, but hopefully you'll be back soon in the future. And so tell me, do you have a band? Are you gigging? What's the story?
Yeah, so we've just been practicing for a month, actually. So our bass player Jacob, he's been with us since the beginning. I think since 2017, through various lineups, ups and downs. And Justin's our new drummer, and he's pretty incredible. And we're very keen to just play live again. I feel like I'm doing new things with my vocals that I'd love to share with people. And Jacob's an incredible bass player, and Justin's a great drummer.
It's really cool as a singer if you find a really good rhythm, like tight rhythm section, you know. So yeah, I totally understand what you mean.
That's really true.
Yeah, that's cool. Any other shout outs you want other than the two you mentioned?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm part of this thing called Station Road, and we're a collective of creatives. And my friend Dalian and Mapili, they make like hip hop, but it's like dance hip hop, garage inspired, and things like that.
That might be a good fit for our secondary station that we have, upfm.co.nz. It's where we're streaming live right now. But other than Kiwi Radio.nz is about Kiwi music, but upfm.co.nz is very full spectrum dance music. Yeah, send us some stuff, man. Yeah, definitely. Station Road. Where can we find this collective online?
We're on YouTube. You can find us.
YouTube.
I think it's Station Road Music.
Station Road Music on YouTube. I might have to do that very soon. In fact, straight after this
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, send me a link. I'll do some homework and say hi to your boys and gals. Tell them about this little wee podcast that we do every Tuesday, 7 p.m. In fact, if you're catching this on a replay, you might have downloaded the MP3. And if you have, thank you very much. I want to do a quick shout out to Brent as well, who actually gave us a little tip last week. 99 cents. That's definitely going to go towards some coffee, which I require every morning. So thank you very much for that 99 cents. And Bad for Education is our guest for today. William, so whereabouts in New Zealand are you based? Where can we catch your performances once you get that up and running?
Yeah, we're based in Auckland.
Nice.
And I recorded Eyes in the Sky in Wairoa. And actually, this next song is about Wairoa.
We're going to play Stupid Feelings. Are you talking about that one?
I think so, yeah, that one, yeah.
Why are feelings stupid? I mean, isn't it part of the human journey to have feelings, or are you secretly a robot?
I think sometimes in certain moments I let emotions take over, where sometimes it's better to take a deep breath and just think about what I'm going to say sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that with any emotion, it's a human nature to feel all spectrums of emotions, from blue to green to whatever color spectrum, and that every feeling has a season, I think so. And the great thing
That's
about
true as well, I believe.
the great thing about musicians is they convert that timestamp of whatever they're feeling into songs. So, well, what kind of feelings were you feeling? I'm saying feelings a lot in this sentence when you were writing this particular song.
I was quite unsure about where the world was going. And I think the people in Wairoa were feeling the same. A lot of farms have now been turned into tree farms, so I'm talking about, like, there's a lyric that says those trees are really on a roll. So it means like those tree farms are doing like really well. And I'd also moved from Auckland, so it was like a metaphorical burning of bridges too. And in my head, these bridges were made of wood. And it was me trying to make sense of an uncertain time.
Name some other uncertain times in your life, because I kind of want to know a little about you as a person. Give me maybe one or two pivotal things that really changed the direction for you, specifically with music as well, because you mentioned your dad got you into music, and it's not something you really wanted to do in the beginning, but it seems like it's a very important part of your life now. Was there one or two things that really made you invest more time in music? Like what happened?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So my dad got me in the studio when I was, I think, 3 years old, and that's when I did my first vocals. And he was very proud of that song. You know, he would play it to everybody. And I think that's kind of what I got quite shy from that. There's a song that's about how I felt I was old enough to not be pushed in my trike anymore. But actually, I mean, Eyes in the Sky, this album that Stupid Feelings is on, was written during a time where my dad was like, you know, he's on the way out of this world. He was going to pass away. And my mother had passed away when I was 5, so I was feeling very insecure about a lot of things. I hadn't written music for a long time as well, and I wanted to prove to everybody that I can still do it and do it ambitiously, like memorable choruses, fun riffs, which I think is all encapsulated with this song.
That is quite the story. Good on you, man, and thank you for sharing that. Really do appreciate it. So, yeah, I mean,
Welcome.
the reason why I asked that, I mean, music for me as well was part of that healing process. Not knowing my own dad, you know, never had the dad in my life. Well, the dad for me was the riffs, sick riffs, yeah. I sometimes joke to myself that my dad was called Riff. Yeah. Yo. Okay, not funny.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, I try and bust a joke here and there, and I'm really not good at delivery. So, do you have a favorite joke, by the way? Let's keep this light. Do you have a favorite joke?
Oh.
Some people come up with...
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I came up with one the other day.
Oh, you came up with it. Okay.
It's like me and my friend, or me and my friend were going to go on a pirate sailing trip all around the world. But at the last minute, they cancelled, and my friend said that he shanty. Oh no, that she shanty, like sea shanty.
Almost missed the mark there with that punchline, but awesome. No, thank you. Well, hopefully hear from you again. What's next for you creatively? So you've just dropped this album. What's next for you? Gigging, I suppose, right?
Yes, gigging and recording a new project. We were recently successful and a part of the Auckland Arts Comeback fundraising campaign on Boosted.
Congratulations.
So, thank you very much. We'd like to deliver for everybody that donated to us.
That's amazing. So is that a crowd backing platform kind of thing?
Yes, it was. And
nice.
So every dollar that was contributed by the public was matched by the Auckland Arts Fund.
Yeah.
Auckland Arts Council.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. No, that's cool. It's fantastic that stuff like that exists. So well done. I've
Yeah,
also been
sure.
a grateful receiver of our crowdfunding backing platforms back in the day. In fact, my old band, This Flight Tonight, with their debut record, Friendly Fire, that was all crowdfunded as well. So, I just love it when the public back the arts and then it gets matched. That's awesome. Oh wow, awesome! Great,
Definitely, yeah.
great things to hear. Any more shout outs today before we let you do your thing?
Yeah, sure. Nigel, that song was awesome.
Oh yeah, Nigel. Yeah, love it. Who does Nigel remind you of musically?
There was a bit of Leonard Cohen in there, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so. I was gonna you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, Leonard Cohen. Yeah, great stuff. We're going to come back to Nigel's music very soon, but I just want to thank William again for being on the show. His project's called Bad for Education, and where's the best link to find this music? I know you've got a link tree, so it's linktr.ee / Bad for Education, and that tells you all the websites, socials, Bandcamp. Oh, actually, you've got a .com, don't you? Badforeducation.com.
Yes, yeah, we got a .com. People can Google Bad for Education music, and we should come up, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, thank you, William. I hope you
Thank you for having me, Ralphie.
you keep music as a very important part of your life because I enjoy the output that you make.
Thanks, Ralphie.
You've been cutting records since 3 years old, which gives me 2 more years to get my 1-year-old son ready for the studio, and hopefully one day he will be on the same level as William. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much, William. And we're going to play your song now called Stupid Feelings.
Peace.
Peace. Thanks for being on the show.
There's nothing wrong with It's hard to know which way the wind is facing. Those trees are really on a roll. No burning down those bridges, burn to basics. I put my bucks all in a row. Now if I could hold you for the whole night, I swear, darling, you'd never want to go. That's what I said to her. Oh, stupid me, those stupid feelings. And now I feel like I am racing against someone who doesn't know. I'm burning down those bridges, burn to basics, and put my bucks all in a row. Now if I could hold you for the whole night, I swear, darling, oh, you never want to go. That's what she said to me. Oh, stupid me, those stupid feelings. Hold on, go back, not now. When everyone's around you, don't speak your mind just yet, 'cause I won't care if everyone stood near. Hey, but if I could hold you for the whole night, I swear, darling, oh, you never want to go. That's what I said to her. And stupid me, those stupid feelings.
Stupid Feelings. check out Bad for Education. Lovely lad. William, thanks for chatting to us in today's episode. Up next, we have Nigel Parry closing off the tail end of this segment with his folk music. The song that I'm going to play next is called 9 Pairs of Eyes. Welcome back, first of all, Nigel.
Oh, thank you. And
Enjoy-
you were talking about atmospheric recording stuff on tracks. Right at the beginning of this one, you've actually got something pretty atmospheric, standing on a rocky hillside with the sea crashing below. And there's a whale
nice.
right at the end. So there's all sorts of real stuff in amongst the instruments.
Is this from a sound library, or did you cut the found sound yourself there, Nigel?
The whale song actually came from a whale scientist.
Oh.
I can't remember at the moment, which is really bad of me, but because I've been pulling this stuff together for quite a while. The atmospheric stuff, there's another track which has got howling wind on it right at the start, like you're up on a hillside in a little shelter. That was actually recorded in my house because I live in windy Wellington, right on the top of the hill. And when the northerly is in a particular direction, the air around the door makes a nice howling sound. So I stuck a microphone towards it from inside the door and got the whole thing live.
That's awesome. Commendable to you to go to those reaches. And
I actually like quite, playing around with real sounds and real instruments rather than doing it all electronically.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I used to throw keys, being a recording musician myself, and pitch it down as a percussive note or something. just anything really makes it your own, right? When you do this, no, that's cool. 9 Pairs of Eyes. Well, that's an interesting song title, I guess. So, what are you saying with this song?
Well, it's inspired by I've got a growing obsession with the Marlborough Sounds Whalers, the guys who were up on the freezing windy hilltops looking out for whales in the middle of winter in woolen clothing years ago. I can only sing those I've got a few songs, so I can only really sing them because I used to be a fundraiser for Greenpeace. So I don't agree with what they did at all, but it was a particular lifestyle and a particular part of New Zealand history. And the most successful and long-lasting of those operations was the Piranha Whalers from the Marlborough Sounds, who went out chasing whales in the Cook Strait. Several generations of them, and they were quite innovative at the time, but also small beer in international terms. The amount of whales that we caught was tiny compared to others, but still bad. But when they were actually looking out for the whales, they'd have a load of people up on the windy hilltop. If you catch the Inter-Islander to South Island, it's on the left-hand side, the port side as you go in. There's a big hill, and they all had their binoculars looking out, and then they built a bit of a shelter, but it was still very cold and windy. And if they spotted a whale, then the guys who were actually going out to catch it in 3 chasing boats would run down the back of the hill, row out to their chasing boats and roar out into Cook Strait, followed by the support boat, leaving one guy left alone, and very often. So there were up to 9 of them up in this tiny little shelter in the freezing cold for hours, looking out for whales. So 9 pairs of eyes was just... Sometimes the way I write songs is just a little phrase or a little key, something that goes round and round in the head and slowly gets bigger, and there's more and more of the song attached to it. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those things where that tiny little phrase, which actually came from a retired whaler who mentioned that, and that little phrase just wormed around in my head till it became a whole song.
Here I am thinking you were talking about the 5 eyes or something, plus an additional 4. Maybe they were...
No.
Over stuff that week.
These are actual real people up on a freezing hilltop.
Wow. I feel like Greenpeace sometimes commendable what they do, but they're really quite ballsy sometimes in their approach and get into trouble often. And then in this case, inspiring a song for Nigel, which we'll play now. KiwiRadio.nz. And there's the atmospheric intro he was talking about. Lovely. We'll chat to Nigel again at the tail end of the song. He's got one more song for today's episode. Stick around.
A stowaway from Italy came here from New York and found hard work. He took his newborn family off into Picton bound, fishing in the Sound. A giant spout by his sardine boat shook Joe Piranha's sails. When he calmed, he saw a future hunting for the whale. With 9 pairs of eyes, scanning straight for signs of their prize, 3 boats away, chasing through the waves to find their prey, to keep a family, whale dies. 9 pairs of eyes. We set up on Lookout Hill, watching the waves below for a humpback's blow. Then down the track and to the chasers, we hope 5 tons or more. And the engines roll with firing 14 pounds of death, then Aaron lines into our spoil. We tow 'em into Tory Channel to fence and boil for oil. With 9 pairs of eyes, scanning straight for signs of their prize, 3 boats away, chasing through the waves to find their prey, to keep a family, a whale dies. 9 pairs of eyes. In 62, thousands were taken by Russians and Japanese from the southern seas. So few were left that bitter winter, you wonder if whaling pays, and you wait for days. In 64 we couldn't pay when Orca's boiler failed. Now conservation wants our eyes still spying for the whale. With 9 pairs of eyes, scanning straight for signs of their prize, 3 boats away, chasing through the waves to find their prey, to keep the family, a whale dies. With 9 pairs of eyes, scanning straight for signs of their prize, 3 boats away, chasing through the waves to find their prey, to keep the family, a whale dies. 9 pairs of eyes.
9 Pairs of Eyes off the new album by Nigel Parry. The album is called Tales of Common Folk, Salt and Sweet Kisses, and you can check him out at nigelparrymusic.com. It features some of New Zealand's finest folk musicians. The listener is taken on a reflective journey from the decline of Kiwi rural towns through stories of Marlborough Sound whalers, such as that one you just heard, love and loss in olden times, even a Viking raid. There we go. Check it out. Tales
Yeah,
of
there really
Common
is a
Folk.
song about a Viking raid in there.
What
And
song
it's
is
a very
that?
old song,
Which
but
one, by the way? The Viking raid one.
It's called 3 Danish Galleys, and it was collected over 100 years ago, but it's apparently a lot older than that. And it's actually based on a historical event, apparently. A particular tiny town in Somerset called Porlock was actually raided by the Vikings. And that particular track, talking of finest folk musician, shout out to Karen Jones, who plays beautiful Celtic harp on that track.
Yeah, I really love the collaborations you've done with this album.
There's a lot of
Congratulations.
musicians. Yeah, there's probably too numerous to mention, but just a few would be Tony Hilliard, great voice on King of Rome. You heard earlier on beautiful low whistle by Pat Higgins, who also plays flute on another track. Emily Griffiths, wonderful, talented young folk musician, singing, playing fiddle on part of the album. Chris Penman has an amazing voice, and she actually stepped up and asked me if she could sing harmonies to The Day the Bank Closed Its Doors. Heaps of other people. It's just been a really fun journey, and one of the things I like about it is you're dealing with real people and real instruments and things like that, rather than just sitting in a little cocoon pressing keys on a keyboard and things like that. So even things like where you'd normally maybe have a keyboard with a wash of chords behind a song, I actually used real people with real voices to do that. So we did quite a lot of recording of multi-track voices to really give some warmth and some atmosphere to all this stuff.
Yeah, when you start doing that with real instruments, real people, like their voices, you start getting that sort of like old time radio sound. Some of my favorite records from the '60s kind of thing, and you capture a real vibe. Speaking of guest musicians, I believe this next track that we're going to play, called "No More," next and final one, unfortunately, for this episode, that is.
Yeah,
It has
one on the
Helen
album as
Dorothy,
well.
right?
Yes, it's a kind of a collaboration, but it actually is a song that she wrote.
Okay.
And she approached me and asked me if I would like to actually do a duet with her and sing part of the song. And I was just absolutely gobsmacked that she would even ask, because she is an amazing singer-songwriter. I mean, like Joni Mitchell quality singer-songwriter. And she's been doing that just up the Cavity Coast from Wellington here for some years. And it's a song about basically resisting the pull of the old country, the old families trying to get you to entice you back to wherever, the other side of the world, and resisting that pull because, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I've moved on from there and really loving New Zealand. So she actually wrote the song and asked me to actually be the voice of like the old country pulling her back. And so we've even got symbolic little things like there's a bit more prevalence of a Celtic harp for the old country pull bits of the song. And that was Karen Jones again, and her husband Tony Burt is playing dobro on the bit, which is more about the new world and staying here. So there's all sorts of clever tricks in it, but it's a really cool song to end the album and end the show. So better give it a little bit of time to play. Thank you very much for having me, Ralph. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to your episode 51 next.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you believe it's been that many episodes? Well, I thank you so much. Hopefully, please don't be a stranger to the podcast. Absolutely loving your music, which we'll be plugging in upcoming episodes as well. Nigel Parry, thank you for being on the show. And if you've enjoyed his music, make sure to check out Nigel Parry with an A, music.com. So NIGELPARRY, music.com. Thank you, Nigel, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And that's it, guys. This will be the final track to close off this hour. Thank you very much for joining me every Tuesday, 7 p.m. for Kiwi Music Showcase. We've got a ton more guests coming up in the station. If you want to check out the schedule, just go to kiwiradio.nz/radio. We'd love to have you back. We love New Zealand music and celebrating it every week.
To your green and pleasant land. This is your birthplace, and I'll greet you with an open hand.
No more, you and me, you smother me in a cold grey mist, and I just can't breathe.
Come and be filled with land and pride, and under the ground we'll rattle home to your suburbia side.
No more, you and me, to to be shunted around like stock at the market. That's not for me.
Come and explore the lanes that lead to another age. Taste the seasons, winter crisp, summer's hay.
No more, you and me. You've been taunting me with your country life and ancient history.
Let's find familiar faces and the old habits we say. Blood, laughter, moments to take you to our distant grave.
No more, you and me to only see them in my darker eyes. It's no good for me. I said no more, you and me. You smother me in a cold grey mist and I just can't breathe. I mean, no more, you and me. To be shunted around like stock at the market, that's not for me.
No more, you and me.
You're taunting me with your country life and your ancient history.
No more, you and me.
To only share with you my darker hours, that's no good. It's no good for me.
That is officially probably one of my favorite songs to play in the entire 50 episodes of KiwiRadio.nz. Thank you, Nigel Parry. I'm just a sucker for folk music, to be honest. And yeah, absolutely loving that. Thank you again to Bad for Education. Hit the rewind to hear some alternative rock. We do this every week. Shout outs to a couple of upcoming guests. We have Samantha Josephine coming back on the podcast, Joe Bermudez, Smart Park X, joining us all the way from South Africa, Tess, Leotard, Sonic Space Lab, Kokomo, Pull Down the Sun, Bird Machine, all sorts of guests coming up. In fact, we have a few international ones coming up as well, not just all New Zealand music. Most of the time, I'd say we're 99% Kiwi. But every week we do this Tuesday, 7 p.m. Also, shout out to one of our sponsors, aucklandmamamarket.co.nz, a boutique market for 0 to 5-year-olds. In fact, we've got 2 gigs coming up this month. If you're in Onehunga, 20th of August, we'll be there. And Fairies and Superheroes will be our big show for the year. I always liken this to the big day out for little toddlers because we have Spider-Man coming, fairies, all sorts of things. Lots of entertainment starting from 9:30 a.m. on the 27th of August, Saturday, Mount Albert War Memorial Hall for that one, both in Auckland. In fact, I'll play the sting to close off the show. Thank you again for being with us. This is KiwiRadio.nz. Business owner in Auckland, set up shop, message, sales at aucklandmamamarket.co.nz. Held in different venues around Auckland, these are more than just markets. These are events with a surrounding of great food and coffee and live music by yours truly, ralphie.co.nz. Aimed at families with children aged 0 to 5, this is not a secondhand or craft market. We source one-of-a-kind and inspirational products for pregnancy, babies, young children, and also many treats for mum and dad. The focus is on new and stylish products at market prices. See you at the next Auckland Mama Market in Te Atatu, Milford, Ellerslie, and Mount Albert. aucklandmamamarket.co.nz. Yeah, thank you so much to Auckland Mama Market for sponsoring the show. And again, we're going to play some Nigel Parry in the background there, but I've just been told that Nigel will be playing the Wellington Folk Festival on Labour Weekend. So if you want to catch Nigel Parry live, go to that folk festival, hang out, especially if you're in Wellington. That's the show, everybody. My name's Ralphie, signing out. Remember to all the creatives listening to this podcast to stay cool and stay creative. And to all the fans, remember, New Zealand music rocks.
Carvings commanding the high street, a cathedral where now there are none to pray.
Thank you very much, Nigel. I see you're still there, hanging out. Yeah, the show is offline now. So, but thank you so much for being on today's show. Hope you've had a great, fantastic time hanging out. And yeah, I really do appreciate the music. It's been very fun to hang out, and hope to hear from you again very soon. You've got my number and email if you need anything. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much. I'll email you very soon. An MP3 link. Have a good night.